I got a lot of fun new things in this notebook, let me tell you, okay? Look at all that. So many fun things. Hello? Hey baby girl. We have a guest. You're gonna have to be cool, okay? Perfect. Okay, so just sit down. I feel like I'm having like a kid's reading, like a book reading, you know? Like reading to the kids. Okay, so I'm just gonna take you through the year. A quick year recap. I feel like I sewed with a lot of new fabrications this year. Some of those include a lot of knits. I was sewing with a lot of knits this year. A lot of silk CVC, and a silk taffeta, satin, denim, lace, and even an outdoor duck canvas. Also, I feel like I made a lot of proto samples this year and not as many actual items. I did a lot of self-drafting this year, and I feel like my first video ever that I posted was me redrafting my bodice block, and that kind of kicked everything off for me to like just really get things going and stop being afraid, because that's getting me nowhere. And this year I made quite the amount of self-drafted patterns, okay? So if this is your first time here, I'm Nicole, really trying to take my sewing journey a step further. I'm gonna work on all these fun projects. Why not film it and share and like kind of create like a little community, and we can like chat through all of my ideas. I like hearing everyone's suggestions. I'm someone that's very much so wants to like backboard off of another creative partner. I get to do that at work a lot because I work in corporate fashion, or I work in the fashion industry as a designer and product developer. It's like a very collaborative experience. I'm missing my coworkers, okay? I'm missing my coworkers, bouncing ideas off of them. I wanted to create that within the internet of it all. Here's everything I said this year. Okay, so then we started off the year and we started off strong, okay? My first project honestly was a dud, okay? And by dud, I mean that I gave up on her. So I was really inspired by this jacket. Speaking of work, I was really inspired by this vintage jacket that we got when we went inspo shopping. It was so cute. I was like, I need to remake her because A, she was too small for me, and B, I was like kind of looking for a challenge and like trying to sew some heavy duty fabrics. I got the denim from Joann's before she closed. You know, she had her issues, but I decided to get experimental and try making this denim jacket. So I decided to self-draft her, and I decided to self-draft her from a coat pattern. I realized now that I probably should have started from a fitted bodice or like a fitted torso block. I think that would have had a better start for the project. It's just a little too oversized. I got the needles, trying to get the finishings going, and what I need to do now is basically rip her apart, but I did flat filled seams, so the idea of doing it is still really not computing in my brain. Eventually, like I'm gonna give it another like 3 years, you know, just give me some time. Also, the back yoke is like Western yoke, and I was not prepared for sewing this with denim and a flat filled seam, so on my bad. Definitely quite the challenge, let me tell you. I don't recommend, but let me tell you, when I finish her, she's gonna be real cute, okay? I even got a little bit more experimental, and I also decided to self-dye a duck canvas contrast collar because I had some duck canvas that I've had sitting in my stash for quite some time. I like to dye stuff, okay? Hand dye my contrast fabric, and honestly it came out pretty good. It was a little challenging, so I might have to either A, just start over and remake her because I have more fabric, or I can salvage the one that I have. Basically, I just got frustrated with the project and moved on. She still sits here looking nice, but she is very much so unfinished. Also, my sleeves are too short. After that, I kind of needed like a quick little, I needed a quick fix, adrenaline rush. I needed a positive experience. So I decided to make this. You know what? Spring's coming. So let's go with the big pink. I've been really into like a good capri, okay, or a pedal pusher, and I thought she could look really cute with this, so I decided to make her. I did pick the wrong size at first, so that was kind of my bad, but I ended up salvaging her and just basically taking her in a lot, and I did have to add some darts. Basically, I just needed to size down. I think she would have been fine, but I did all of the elasticated smocking on my machine, and honestly, she looks so good, and I'm proud of her. That's actually the one thing I accomplished for sure, was doing that elasticated smocking on my machine, and it honestly has like a really nice tension to it. It's tight, it holds you in. She looks really cute, and I got it's a cotton voile, a light pink cotton voile. I was really into like a light baby pink and baby blue this year, especially in the beginning of spring, and I saw her on Mood Cotton. I'm trying to incorporate a lot of more natural fibers into my sewing, which I actually did a really good job on this year. I think almost every item that I sewed this year was natural fibers, with the exception of two of them. Two of them are polyester. The rest are silk or cotton. I lied. I have one that's a rayon spandex, and that one technically, if you want me to get into rayon necessarily isn't the best, but it is technically a processed natural fiber. We don't need to get into the fabric nerdy stuff. I'm still gonna count her as a natural-ish fiber. I kind of was wearing her with my little capri. She looks cute with like a little skort, very cute like little summertime top. And the next one, I was also getting a little experimental. I was really into making mood boards this year and like saying this Sandy Liang skirt. I'm so sick of actually saying that because I've been saying it all year. Okay, well, first of all, the Sandy Liang one is made out of polyester, so this is already an upgrade, okay? I was really obsessed with baby blue and baby pink. I've also been obsessed with getting like a nice silk taffeta, and the reason why I was thinking silk to begin with was A, because I'm trying to use more natural fibers, and B, I like the sheen better on the silk taffeta than I do the polyester taffeta, so I did get like a little splurgy, and I found this really cute one on Etsy. I kind of just went for it. I was like, you know, if I'm gonna like remake this designer piece, like let's try to make it worth it and better than the original one. Better, you know, not better sewing, but better better fabrications. Okay, I can't afford the real ones, so make my own and put some money into some nice fabric. And I'm really glad that I did, because I really very hard to control the wrinkles on the silk taffeta. That is the one downfall. It is a little bit sewing like a nylon tarp parachute. For the skirt, I used they're part of those like pattern company ones that they partner with influencers, and I started off with sewing pattern. I decided A, to take off the waistband, B, to drop the waist placement, and C, I don't know. I made some modifications, okay? I think I also made it like a chunky hem, which I kind of regret now, just shouldn't have made it on the circle-ish type skirt. She still looks good from the outside. So she's just like a little, there's some sections where like the hem is a little janky. So the skirt came out really good, honestly. I was a little bit insecure about her afterwards. I recently got to wear her for the first time, like actually go somewhere and wear her. And because I was thinking to myself, like, why did I make this? I have nowhere to go in this outfit. But my friend is having a baby boy. What a perfect skirt to wear to a baby boy birthday shower. Say that 7 times in a row. But she looked really cute. I like actually styling her a little bit without the top. But because I was just wanting to experiment more, I decided to self-drop a top, and the top turned into a disaster. I ended up making some changes last minute before I made the proto sample. After I made the proto sample, I made 3 proto samples, so I thought, I'm good. Lesson was proven wrong, and she was quite the experiment, let me tell you. I ended up salvaging her into this cute, like, Beauty and the Beast belle top. I think she looks cute, but I do look a little bit like a Disney princess, which is not a bad thing. It's just not necessarily my thing. I'm gonna try, okay? Like, I'm gonna try to wear her together at some point and wear the whole look. Okay, so that was part of like my spring sewing early of the year. Denim, pink little cute crop elasticated smock top, and the baby blue taffeta set that was inspired by Sandy Liang. Spring/summer sewing. I started off with this Maxi skirt. I actually started making her 2 years ago, maybe 3 now at this point, and I never finished her because when I made her originally, I made her without lining because that's what the pattern said to do. I should have known better because it is very see-through, but I was thinking with the elastic, this one also has elasticated smocking as the waistband, and honestly this one, because I did it 2 years ago, looks worse than the one I just made now, the pink one, so you can see that I've made some upgrades. I've gotten further in my journey on learning how to use the elasticated smocking, but basically she was way too see-through. I needed to add lining, and at that point, after I did all the elasticated smocking and I serged all of the edges on the inside, I was not looking forward to starting over on that. But eventually I was like, I really want to make this cute little like outfit that looks, I don't know, I was thinking like Salma Hayek, 1990s, you know, like just hot. No, I'm kidding. I really just wanted, again, to have a lot of cotton natural fabrics for the summertime, so like be in a cute outfit and it be like not sweat central, you know? So I'd already had like the skirt kind of down, so basically I started out by ripping her apart and redoing her, adding a lining. I basically just recut the self out, but in the lining fabric. The skirt was from a Viki Sews pattern. And then I really wanted a matching top. There were so many Pinterest outfits that were just like viral this year with cute little like white sets. Just like a lot of pin tucking, cute like little ties, lots of buttons, very fitted, like a big like square scoop necks. And I had this vintage 2000s pattern that I got off eBay or Etsy, one of the two. I had made a proto sample the year before too, so I was trying to finish up some long lost fellow projects that fell down the rabbit hole, and I was able to successfully finish her without being frustrated again like the first time I was. I did all the buttonholes on my machine, and the fabric I got off of Etsy a couple of years ago. Let me tell you, I buy things and I'm going to use them years later, but I have a vision eventually, okay? It's just like, I usually like to just gravitate towards things that I like, knowing that I will use them eventually because I know that I have very specific tastes when it comes to prints. You know, in my mind I have ideas, I just not necessarily want to execute them in the moment. It's probably my most worn thing this year that I've made. I've worn it a lot. Not maybe the full outfit, but at least that top. I've worn the top a lot. It looks cute with jeans, looks cute with everything. Also, so does the skirt. The skirt looks cute with like a little white tank top, a little white t-shirt. I gotta experiment a little bit more with some other things, but they have versatility. Versatility. Next thing, again, this is when I was starting to really get heavy into the knits, and I really wanted like a hot halter top with a low back. And I was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it. So I started by experimenting with some leftover fabrics that I got from work, using my serger and just like really trying to like figure out. And honestly, I feel like I'm just getting good at gauging like shapes of things. So with a knit, you know, it's a little less fit forward. Basically, I'm able to figure it out a little quicker without having to make a very specific pattern. So I like to reference like garments I already have in my closet and just test the stretch on them, then against the fabric that I do want to use, and then I'm kind of able to gauge where I should create some style lines basically. So I made this really cute, it's probably very Brat summer themed in the moment. That's just like, I want like a cute little sexy cutie outfit, you know, like for the summer. I found this fabric also at Joann's right before they had closed. I also this year have been trying to wear more color. So I saw this really pretty like berry fuchsia knit. And of course it was on sale because they were closed. All of these colors were out of my comfort zone this year, but I really have been pushing myself to wear more color. Basically the original inspiration was from this peachy den set. She's just like cute and cool, and I liked that she looked like a little sassy and just like easy to throw on. Who doesn't love a knit outfit, you know? Like we all love knit. I mean, I'm at the stage in my life where I'm like, I don't want to wear a bra. I'm just like, don't want to do it. Could have lines the front, which I was intentionally going to, and then I ran out of fabric and Joann's was closing and I couldn't get any more, so here we are. But I do want to actually remake this top in another fabric. I was originally going to make her in this cute sequin that I got from work, in this yellow paillette sequin that was like iridescent, but I didn't end up getting to finish her in time, so she's cut out and never made. That one will be lined, and I feel like it'll just like naturally like hold better up here, but she's still really cute, and honestly I don't care, so I'm gonna wear her anyway. And during the summer I did, and she looked cute. Honestly, one of my favorite projects I worked on this year was these skorts. Really obsessed with the skort this year. I've actually been obsessed with skorts for the last couple of years, but this year I was like, I'm making myself a skort, and it's gonna be knit, and I'm gonna wear it every day. And I kind of did that, yeah. I ended up self-drafting both of these patterns. I self-drafted the top by just winging it, and the skort, I used a little like Free People skort that I already had, that I used for like, you know, actual fitness. Fitness endeavors. I kind of use that as like the template of like the short template and the waistband, and I kind of just like experimented from there. The idea of like obviously like ruching, and I wanted to match the top, so I decided to shear up the waistband and like had it ruched all the way around the waistband yoke. And then because I wanted to make it a skort, I obviously attached the shorts and made a little mini skort, and I wanted it to be mini, okay? Mini skort. I have short legs, and the mini really makes a difference, let me tell you. And I'm not afraid of a short little skirt, okay? I'm not afraid of a little leg. I actually think it just makes me feel more elongated, so I like the idea of like a tiny little mini skort. If you make it a skort, you can make it short. And that's exactly what I did. I love how she turned out. I was obsessed with her, okay? And then I decided I gotta make another one. I had a couple more fit corrections that I made on the second version, and I basically just kind of shortened up the short tighter at first, so then like when you're walking and the fabric starts growing, it has a better recovery. That was some lessons that I learned on that. And I wore the heck out of all these skorts. Pretty sure everyone is sick of me saying skorts because I've been obsessed with them that much. So really trying to learn how to grade as well. And my first experiment with this grading experience that I used was my skort. I was like, why not? I feel like it's kind of a hard sew if you're like not used to sewing knits. And I was like really proud of like getting there. So I think I was like, let me share. I wore the green one so much. And she was so comfortable. I'm really glad how they turned out. I learned some new techniques on sewing knits. I started using a walking foot, started basting all of my pieces prior to me sewing them so that when I serged them, they had an easier time not stretching and growing out before I attached them to all the other pattern pieces, so that my patterns just lined up better, and then essentially led to a better fit. Definitely like a nice growing experiment with knits for sure, because normally I'm just like serging them and like going and I never even like do finishings on them. I just like let the fabric roll and don't do a thing. And this one I actually had to like do a lot more construction and use my sewing machine and my serger. So she was quite the technique little bundle. Oh hi! We have a friend now. I said that the rose set was my most worn, but I actually think it was the skort. Close second though, close second. I was obsessed with this like random Pinterest that I had saved for a long time. Hello! come join us. I had saved my board for a long time, and I had bought this fabric a couple years ago, and I was like, you know what, this kind of looks like a good option to like try to recreate this, so let's do it. This one was also a little challenging. Wanted to experiment with the stripe direct and also adding some ruching to the sides. Just kind of was difficult with a knit, but I ended up figuring out she can use a little bit more love because now she's kind of coined up on the ruche side. She's kind of like drooping a little bit. I feel like I could re-hem her and do a better job now that she's like kind of grown and like settled in. I really loved this dress. I made like a little cute matching headband to go along with her. Overall, I'm happy with the execution. I did learn some lessons and I could use that in the future to like upgrade her just a little bit. But with this one, I experimented with some elastic. I experimented with elastin. I was really trying to be cognizant, whatever. I'm focusing on professionally clean finishing knits. Let me tell you, it's quite the challenge without the proper technology like they have in the factories. You know, we don't have that as home sewers. She looks good and I'm happy with her for now. And then I moved on to my summer trip. I was going on a summer vacation and I thought, why not make all my clothing to go on the trip? I don't know, I like a good challenge to give myself stress for no reason at all. And I decided to, honestly, I really just wanted to use up some stuff from my stash of fabrics because I really need to get rid of some. I've been obsessed with ruffles and I really just wanted to kind of experiment just like making ruffles. I had this really pretty, gorgeous, fuchsia-y, berry neon purple lace that I had from work. And I was just kind of messing around and wanted to do like a little Saturday sewing challenge for myself. And I just kind of went for it. And she came out so cute. So cute. I made her in a day. And that was already crazy. The only thing I will say is that I should have properly finished her. I really just like left everything raw, and honestly that was not the way to go. And now it might be a little too late to salvage her. I need to figure out how to properly finish lace edges without having a border. Such a limited amount of fabric. I like only had 1 yard, and I just couldn't use the border to like finish all of my edges. So they do like a little sketch. Maybe I'll fix her one day. Or maybe honestly I just want to recut her in a fun new fabric and we'll see. But I really love this color. I actually ended up wearing her for Halloween along with the green skirt and I ended up being Daphne. It came out cute. Experiment with the ruffles and the ruffles came out so cute. So now I'm really gotta keep experimenting with the ruffles and just start throwing ruffles on everything. I gotta pay! To the last few things, I've already talked about this fabric too much. On this silk CDC that was a little damaged, but I needed to take her home because she was so pretty. I really find like it's hard to find these types of prints nowadays. She just like looks vintage inspired. She looks like she's from like the 2000s era, early 2000s era. She also kind of looks like East Asian inspired, and I just fell in love with her and I decided to self-draft this wrap skirt. And I also self-drafted this like butterfly top. I was kind of inspired by the 1930s, I think it's 1930s butterfly top. I need a lot of tops. There's something about tops, I feel like a lot of people have the same issue. There's just something about the tops that are so hard. I don't know, there's just like no cute new tops. And I really told myself this year I needed to work on more tops, and I kind of did, but none of them have a freaking sleeve. And I don't know what I have against sleeves, but every time I get to a project and I want to make a top, I forget to put a sleeve on, or I just end up like opting out, and I don't know. But this one has a sleeve. So I made a cute little like flutter sleeve situation. I decided to use the binding technique to clean finish all of my edges. I also used some French seams on the inside skirt, and I think maybe eventually I can redo the inside of the top, because if you saw my video, I was in a rush when I finished this before I left my trip. I need to finish the sleeve edges. They're just raw. I have some extra binding that I can make to just maybe clean finish the edge of them, or I could just clean finish it with a baby hem or something. I love how wonderfully these turned out, and I was so proud of myself when I was able to finish these. They just look really slick. They're in a silk CDC and they just look nice. Although I did get really mad at my cat earlier because I saw that she snagged my skirt. And by really mad, meaning I went and like had like a silent scream to myself as I looked at her with the devil in my eyes, and I said, "Oh, you're lucky you're cute." Anyway, I was able to fix it by pressing it out, but man, was that, you know, kind of a knife to the heart type of situation. Probably my favorite thing that I've made this year, which is kind of a hard choice considering that I liked a lot of the things that I made this year, and I actually wore a lot of them as well. I feel like I made a lot more like things that I could wear daily this year. I feel like the last few years I've been really like making a lot of experimental dresses or like event wear dresses, and while those I love, I can't necessarily wear them as much, so I can't give as much wear, and I can't like necessarily test all my sewing properly. So like washing and wearing and stuff like that, like a lot of these I've washed and I've worn, and they've still held up and they look good. And then the last thing I made was, again, something I started 2 years ago. Teal satin flounce dress. I originally got the pattern off of eBay or Etsy from the 2000s, and I just wanted like a cute little slip dress. My cousin was having a wedding and I wanted to make a dress for it. I had started this proto sample and never finished it, and I thought, you know what, actually this could work for my vacation now. I decided to finish her, and she came out pretty cute. I decided I was experimenting with some beads at the time, and I wanted to add some beads to the straps. You know what, they're not actually my favorite, but I feel like they still look cute. I sewed satin, that's already a challenge, let me tell you, and she looks decent. My side seams could look a little better. Quite the challenge to sew satin, as I'm sure most of you know, and I feel like she came out pretty good. Also, the baby hem was hard to do. I did recently get like a baby hem foot, and I just need to keep practicing because as much as it looks decent, it doesn't look great. As a person who knows quality but can't necessarily execute it to that degree, as other fine seamstresses that I do know, we're always trying our best to get better and more elevated. Some honorable mentions, some things that couldn't make it into the video that I did make but that turned into gifts, or they're like accessories, or things that I don't have here today. Oh my god, I almost forgot my cushions. Oh. I spent so long on these freaking cushions, okay? My boyfriend ended up finding these chairs down the street and he decided to restore them, and I thought, well, if you're gonna restore them, then I guess I can make some cushions. And honestly, that took up so much of my time this year. For like a good month and a half, I was making these freaking cushions because I had to make binding. It was a whole thing. I also got this fabric from Joann's before they had closed down, so it really, the stars were aligning, okay? But these cushions were quite the project, and while I don't regret them, they were so hard. And now maybe the next time I make them, they will be easier. At the end of 2024, after I filmed my last video, I did make a couple more things after that. 3 of them, to be exact. First one, I made this, I was really on a kick with the lace last year, and I had this beautiful burgundy, like rickrack lace that I got from Dead Stock. So I just cut out like a basic boat neck long sleeve knit top. And then what I did was I used the border of the lace and clean finish the neck. I was able to place the front and back and the sleeves using the border. So the lace edge finished it, and I didn't have to hem it, and it looked really good. And when I made the sleeves, I made sure that it had the scallop on it, so it looked so much better than the last ones that I've done. Secondly, I made this cute little festive holiday dress. I was experimenting. I got this trim for like dirt cheap nothing. I have so much of it, what can I do with it? So I decided to like stack it as like little baby ruffles and use it as a decoration for the chest. I was inspired by a Orson Iris cute little ruffle mesh set. I thought it could be really cute for the holiday time, and I've been wearing her kind of as a top and a dress, and honestly I kind of prefer her as a top. I would say the one thing I did kind of screw up here is that I should have been really paying attention to my tension. The first few rows of the ruffles, they ended up kind of getting a little stretched out, so she's a little gapey in the front, but for now I'm still wearing her, you know? I just gotta like wear the right proper undergarments to like make her sit right. And then third, from the end of last year, I also was celebrating the Eras tour ending, and me and my girlfriend went to a little cute watch party, and I wanted to kind of have like a little something. So what I did was I took some old headers from work, cut up all these like little beading samples, and I tried to like reassemble them into like a little Taylor Swift Reputation era snake and roses, like the jacket that she had worn on tour. And I had a original hoodie from 2017, so I decided to put that all on the back to kind of make like a cute little DIY situation, and she came out really cute. Really was just trying something out and experimenting. One little like cute experiment to like get rid of things, to reuse some things. I have lots of fun new projects coming up. I have a lot of things that I'm working on. Too many ideas, so many ideas. Too many ideas and so not enough time. I'm excited for next year. I think one of my goals for 2026 as far as my sewing goes is I need to be better at properly finishing the inside of my garments, and I know I'm capable of it. I know the correct finishings. It's just hard to do it when I'm not just telling someone else to do it in a tech pack. I also want to continue growing on my pattern making journey, and I also have been dabbling in grading, and I just want to continue to keep accelerating in those 2 categories of clothing things, techniques. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I might end up finishing a couple more things before the end of the year, but for now, this was a year of sewing 2025. All of my year. How did the year end? Where did the year go? Oh my god. Truly don't know. And see you next year. It's actually really fun to see yourself like grow every year, and like how you get to do and try new fun things, and how style evolution happens, you know? This year I was a very colorful girl. Next year, we'll see. Ciao, ciao.